Welcome to TV Africa News, and thank you for always joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Luima, but first are the headlines. Over 120 students whose school fees Oulanyah was paying are worried about their future. Judiciary suspends a visit to Karamoja to arbitrate land disputes over escalating violence. South Sudan rivals sign agreement in a bid to normalize relations. Mazeclean Chilengat wins 2022 Poznan Half Marathon. Welcome once again. Now the news in detail. A total of 120 students whose school fees the deceased former Speaker of Parliament Jacob Oulanyah was paying have expressed worry over their future. Describing Oulanyah as a brother, the Chief Justice insisted he will ensure the dreams of the deceased former Speaker are fulfilled. We have more. On Sunday, the students, most of whom are studying at Seruma Christian School in Mukono, told mourners at Muyinga that the deceased former Speaker of the 11th Parliament had taken the initiative to pay for their education needs, but say they are not sure of what will happen after his death. The students told mourners that the deceased former Speaker picked them from a point where they could not continue with education over several challenges, including school fees, but noted that he ensured a bright future by enrolling them at Seruma Christian High School in Mukono and paid for everything. However, the students were given assurance by mourners led by the Chief Justice, Alfonso Winyidolo, that their school fees needs will be catered for. The Chief Justice said, among others, the fund will ensure continuity of the education needs of the students that the deceased former Speaker was looking after. Dolo said that it is their vow and determination that his children may not see Jacob Oulanyah now physically, but their dreams, the pursuit of education, will continue as if he was alive. Kampala City Traders Association Kasita has asked the Uganda Revenue Authority to withdraw with immediate effect a notice issued on imported motor vehicles of 9 years and above to have their final clearances done at the port of entry. They say over 3,000 people are likely to lose their jobs if this policy is implemented. Nalugo has more.
Speaking to journalists at their offices in Kampala, Kasita chairperson Thaddeus Musoke said the business community normally operates using borrowed money from banks and other credit facilitators to verify goods. Therefore, they usually do not have ready cash to execute transactions.
In this regard, banks and other credit facilitators have to verify goods. In this case, vehicles before extending the facility.
It is going to go beyond the affordability of any Ugandan. At this point in time, 95% of the vehicles we are bringing in are within the years that they have said now paying where? In Mombasa. I'm saying 95% of the cars we are bringing in are below 2013.
The business community, in line with this sector, employs over 3,000 Ugandans who are likely to lose their jobs without mentioning their families and other dependents. It is upon this that Kasita rejected the law and asked for an immediate withdrawal of the same as they focus on engaging the affected parties and the entire public.
From the research and consultations we have made as Kasita, we stand and oppose these notes and therefore request for immediate withdrawal of these notes, which was issued by URA, as we carry out further engagements and sensitization of all stakeholders.
According to the Uganda Revenue Authority, all motor vehicles of 9 years old and above from the date of manufacture shall no longer be cleared from the warehousing regime with effect from 1st July 2022, but rather have their final clearances done at the port of entry, that is Mombasa or Dar es Salaam. The Customs Act provides for 9 months as the warehousing period of any goods imported into the country. According to Uganda Revenue Authority, the notice shall apply to motor vehicles stipulated under Part B of the 4th Schedule in accordance with Section 14B of the Traffic and Road Safety Act 1998 Amendment Act 2018.
The judiciary has suspended plans to visit Karamoja following escalation in armed cattle wrestling and civilian killings. The suspension of the locust visit in Karamoja comes as a setback for a region that has over 300 cases of land conflict before court. The announcement was made by Uganda's Chief Justice Alphonse Owiny-Dollo in April 1st letter to all regional judicial officers. Owiny-Dollo stressed that the current state of insecurity does not give an enabling environment for a judicially locust exercise to take place. A locust visit in mediation is the visit to a location of dispute, especially in land-related cases. The letter reads in part that they have received reports of rampant cattle raids and heightened insecurity in Karamoja sub-region, adding that due to this phenomenon, visiting of the locust is suspended until further notice. The visiting of the locust in Karamoja was intended to verify the land cases in the presence of the court officials, conflicting parties, witnesses, and the community. This way, judgment can be passed based on evidence on the ground. Suspension of the locust visit in Karamoja comes as a setback for a region that has over 300 cases of land conflict before court. Let's take a quick break. We will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, The Right to Know. South Sudanese political rivals agreed on Sunday to unify army command in a key development of the fragile peace agreement signed in 2018. The agreement was signed in Juba after mediation from neighboring Sudan.
South Sudanese mining minister and representative of SPLM, Martin Gama Abucha, said that most important is not only the signing, but the implementation of those articles, adding that they must implement what they are saying. He said that the people of South Sudan expect them to do that, adding that the silence of the guns is most important to peace. He said that they cannot continue to fight when they are talking peace in Juba, so as much as they talk about peace, the guns must go down from that day. The agreement provides for a division of 60% for the president's camp and 40% for the vice president's marshal of leadership positions in the army, police, and national security forces. Tensions between forces loyal to the president and former rebel leader Riek Machar had escalated recently, raising international fears of a return to full-scale conflict in the world's youngest nation. Yassin Ibrahim Yassin, Sudan Minister of Defense, said that for the national security of the Republic of South Sudan, which is an extension of consideration of Sudanese national security, that proposal was integrated and compatible, and thanked God that it has been agreed between all the parties regarding the order of distribution of command leadership. The 2018 peace agreement provides for the principle of power sharing in a government of national unity formed in February 2020 with Kiir as president and Machar as vice president.
After fighting between the National Army and M23 rebels erupted earlier this week in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, thousands of Congolese fled to neighboring Uganda. Now Kinshasa is asking them to regain their villages, but people are reluctant, fearing for their lives. According to Seka Jr., a hemp seller injured in attack and lying in a hospital in Rushuru. A few days ago, the rebels retreated from positions taken on the road leading from Goma, the capital of North Kivu, to Bunagana on the Ugandan border. He added that it was near Bunagana that a UN helicopter crashed for reasons that remain unknown on Tuesday, killing 8 peacekeepers. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees says about 10,000 people have already crossed the border. Bibwesho, who was displaced in Rushuru, said that many other civilians who didn't leave the country rushed to Rushuru, where they found precarious shelter in schools or churches because the rebels are still in their villages. On top of the 10,000 refugees already in Uganda, according to the UN, about 36,000 civilians have been displaced within the DRC. Away from that, thousands of Angolans gathered in the capital, Luanda, on Sunday to celebrate 20 years since the end of the civil war. Many politicians, including President João Lourenço, participated in a mass. On April 4, 2002, the Angolan government and the main opposition party, UNITA, put an end to 27 years of war with the signing of the Peace and National Reconciliation Agreements. The signing of the Peace Agreement on April 4, 2002 was preceded by several negotiations, including the Bichesei Agreement signed in Portugal on May 31st in 1991 and the Lusaka Protocol signed on November 20th in 1994. Manuel Fernandez, a president of the Casache political coalition, said that the service is very important and they must toast their presence with a new commitment to peace, stability and prosperity for all Angolans. Sonia Isabel Nanituma said that it was a blessed day because there have been 3 years of turmoil, adding that the 20 years have been for enjoying peace. President João Lourenço and his wife, accompanied by Vice President Bonito de Sousa Baltazar, attended a mass. The event brought together politicians, both from government and the opposition. Moving on, the United Nations Security Council voted collectively on Thursday to create a new African Union-led peacekeeping force in Somalia. We have more.
The new mission, ATMIS, replaces the current mission of nearly 20,000 military police and civilians that will be gradually reduced to zero by the end of 2024. The purpose of the new mission is to continue the fight against Shebab jihadists. The U.S. Deputy Ambassador to the UN, Richard Mills, described Shebab extremists as representing a formidable and adaptable threat to Somalia and East Africa more broadly. Somalia's capital, Mogadishu, has been the scene of multiple terrorist attacks. 2 separate attacks last week in the center of the country resulted in at least 48 deaths. Somalia has been waiting for parliamentary and presidential elections for over a year. The mandate of the current head of state, Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, known as President Farmajo, expired in February 2021.
Let's take a quick break. Once again, we will be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, the right to know. In our business news today, prices of food are going up in many countries in North Africa and the Middle East. In Egypt, as Ramadan starts and spending rises, the local currency has lost 17% of its value.
Egypt is a leading importer of wheat from Ukraine and Russia. The conflict between the two countries is affecting supplies. The authorities have started implementing ways of stabilizing the economy. Dalia Amri, a resident of Cairo, confirmed the increase in food prices, although some residents are still doing some shopping like they do every year because they like to do something new and be happy as they welcome Ramadan. Sadat El Khatib, a merchant, concluded that the devaluation of the currency to the US dollar affected them and restricted the sales as some goods are expensive while other prices are still fine. The Egyptian government has already started talks at the IMF over a new assistance package, the third in 6 years.
In our health and news today, the United Nations Population Fund just published its annual State of World Population Report, which focuses on unintended pregnancies occurring to women who did not intend to have any more children, all known at this moment in their lives.
The research reveals that they concern 121 million women worldwide each year, with 60% of them leading to safe or unsafe abortions and 5% to 13% to maternal deaths, a global phenomenon that affects the African continent. Dr. Jean-Pierre Makelele, Deputy Resident Representative UNFPA Senegal, explained that if young people are affected by unintended pregnancies, development is hindered, their education is hindered, and their contribution to socio-economic life is hindered. Therefore, the UNPF decided to highlight the problem of unplanned pregnancies, particularly in West and Central Africa, in this year's report. The UN agency is calling on public authorities and all sectors of African population to take global action. The report stresses the link between the development of women's rights and unplanned pregnancies, and for activist Kidiatu Konet, the main solution for it is a real political engagement. According to the executive director of Young Women Leaders Club in Guinea, if decision makers are willing to enforce laws, they will evolve, adding that it's not enough to pass laws, but they have to be enforced. In order to avoid this situation, the UN emphasizes on the importance of contraception and claims to have distributed tens of millions of forms of contraceptives in 2020.
And in sports, today Uganda's Olympian Maseklin Chelengat 24 clocked 1 hour 9 minutes and 24 seconds to win the 2022 Poznan half marathon in Poland on 3rd April. Chelengat's victory came just a week after her wedding day. The 24-year-old Olympian, also bronze medalist at the 2018 Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast City, crossed the finishing line with a time of 1 hour, 9 minutes and 24 seconds. She was way off the national record set by Juliet Chekwere, 1 hour, 8 minutes, 44 seconds, run on 17th October 2020 in Gdynia in Poland during the World Half Marathon event. This was Chelengat's maiden half marathon road run, coming off a stiff challenge from Kenya's Simiyu Lydia with 1 hour, 10 minutes, 20 seconds, and Ethiopian Adisaleme Tegenan with 1 hour, 10 minutes, 21 seconds. Kenyan Lilian was fourth with 1 hour, 11 minutes, 5 seconds, and Polish Lady Isabella Paskiewicz came fifth with 1 hour, 11 minutes and 18 seconds. In the men's category, Ethiopian Abate Sikias won the race with a time of 1 hour, 49 seconds ahead of Kenya's Tafele Adiso with 1 hour, 1 minute, 15 seconds, and another Kenyan, Chesila Shadrach, with 1 hour, 1 minute and 27 seconds. Eritrean Heskel Gebrul with 1 hour, 2 minutes and 19 seconds was fourth, and another Ethiopian in the top 5, Lema Abele, with 1 hour, 2 minutes, 21 seconds completed the dominance for the Horn of Africa countries in the event. Meanwhile, Uganda's Ali Chebores recorded personal best time as he finished 7th at the 2022 Edreams Mija Marathon Barcelona half marathon in Spain. That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned. More programming coming your way.